today we're going to talk about the poster that was presented at AACR, essentially using a platform called CURATE.AI to determine dosing of drugs in a very dynamic manner for patients with multiple myeloma. Now, we started with this project because currently, actually, for myeloma patients, there are many treatment options available. And most of these options are combined into combination therapy, usually between 2 to 4 drugs, and on average, 3 drugs are used in combination. And the drug doses that are used in these combinations are very often the approved drug doses of the drugs when they're used individually, right? And so a lot of the times, the toxicity that we see in our patients and efficacy in the patients are also derived from large population of patients undergoing clinical trials. And so these are the doses that are tolerated as well as efficacious in the average population. But when you come to the individual patients, this is really challenging because there are so many variability in the individual patients in terms of their age, their comorbidity, their kind of physical condition, and also how they metabolize the different drugs. So when you apply a standard dosing to all our patients, it is very difficult sometimes to manage their toxicity and to get a balance between them being able to tolerate the drug as well as to achieve a good response. The other thing to say also is that the drug doses that are approved are very often derived from trials using this concept of maximally tolerated dose. Mm-hmm. So these are doses of drugs which the patients can tolerate. But many of the drugs that we use today are what we call targeted therapy, which are not the same as the conventional chemotherapy. And the drugs may have very potent effect at a much lower dose than that can be tolerated by the patients. And so by applying a concept of maximally tolerated dose that is applied for conventional chemotherapy to the targeted therapy that we use today, again, that may be not necessarily the most appropriate doses that we should use, right? So this whole conundrum of what are the right dosing to achieve the best effect with the best tolerability when used in combination of the different drugs is a real challenge that we have for myeloma patients today. And I think this is where the CURATE.AI platform come in, and I'll pass over now to Agata to explain more about the platform and also how we're applying it for myeloma patients in this study.
Thank you. Yes, I just want to stress that, there's been such a tremendous developments and advancements in the field in terms of developing new drugs. But the key is that if the right drugs are given at the wrong doses, the results are still going to be suboptimal. So that's why optimizing the doses is so important. The other side of that is that when the disease is developing or slowing down in response to the treatment and with the changes in our human bodies, the right dose on day 1 might not be the same as the right dose on day 3 or 4 or 5, or well, I should probably talk about cycles rather than days. And as such, it's important to have some support system that can help to optimize the doses throughout the whole duration of the treatment. And that's something that we are striving to do with CURATE.AI. CURATE.AI is an AI-derived mechanism agnostic platform which allows to optimize the doses of the drugs for a particular individual. So we are using this algorithm, you may say, but we never override the decision of the clinician. I think it's very important to stress that we always work very closely with the medical team, we engineers. So, it starts from the very early stage when we discuss with the clinicians what are the dose ranges that we can operate within for this particular patient or for this particular patient group. And then we operate only within that range. Then once every dozen time point, we discuss what can be the next option, and we recommend something that comes out from CURATE.AI, and we present it to the medical doctor to make the final decision. So those two teams are working closely, so we are not aiming to replace doctors. It's to equip doctors with an additional support tool to make the decisions about the dosing. I also wanted to add that CURATE has been already clinically validated. We have had a solid tumor patient that we curated the dosing of the drugs for. We have also worked with the immunosuppression patients, and we are very excited to now go and see how this platform is going to work in multiple myeloma treatment